All right. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you are well. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the Summer Wells case. Um, it, do I expect that this is going to be do I think that this is going to be popular, a popular topic? Maybe not. Um, but it addresses a couple of things that have bothered me about this whole thing. Now, number one is the issue of the shaved head, right? And I think that we look. So Twisted True Crime Cindy, who is a good friend of mine, she made a great video where she points out that the boys, their hair is long at the time that the baby goes missing. Their hair is all grown out, has all grown out, right? But but Summer's hair has been shaved quite short at the time that she goes missing. Now, this is clearly this photograph here, or this meme. Um, this is when it immediately had been shaved, right? And it's shocking. Like, they didn't just give her a short haircut, it was shaved down to the skin. And when I go to this interview, let me see if I can find it. I have way too many tabs open. So let me kind of close all these out till I find my. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. What did I do with it? I'm also working on a topic related to David Dodson. Here we go. Okay, so let me get rid of David Dodson here. I've been listening to Mapping Evil with Mike King. If you have not listened, you should. If you enjoy true crime or forensic psychology, and you can find that on mappingevil.com. It is very interesting. It's a podcast. Okay, so let me share the interview. One moment. Let me get it up and going. One day I'll be so eloquent and moving about, and you guys, it'll be seamless. You guys will not even have any idea that I'm moving around, sharing items. And okay, I think I have to take this off, don't I? Yes. Okay. Now then, so I'm going to go back to this original interview that was done just in the weeks after Summer went missing in June. Um, People were very quick to jump on the idea that, Don is a bad guy, right? And unmasked Teresa and Vanessa, Melanie B. They interviewed. They had family members come up, and in the weeks after Summer disappeared, immediately when the news comes out, then starting from that moment, then going forward, we're getting all these family members that are coming out saying Don did all these terrible things when I was a little girl, right? And he didn't handle it well. He handled it just like a jerk would be expected to handle it, by blaming it on the child and by, distancing himself from the reality. So it was a great deal of attention immediately on Don and his history and his son, right? And there is an uncle, and there are perpetrators on Candace's side of the family. I mean, this is a hornet's nest. Can we just, be real about this? It's a hornet's nest. QWERTY, oh my goodness, thank you. I'm honored and deeply grateful. That was very kind of you. Thank you so much. Um, so so people were very quick to jump on this and say this is obviously, a bad guy. Now, when I watched this back in the day when it all began to unfold, I was so deeply disturbed by Candace's performance, right? We watched the interview, not the interview, what they call the behavior panel. I watched the behavior panel and I felt alienated. I felt like, why are they being so careful with Candace and going directly in on Dawn? Why is it they seem to have difficulty seeing Candace's reactions and responses? And so I felt odd. I felt like I was seeing something backwards than what these other, obviously the behavior panel are, well educated, accomplished behavioral people. And so they, I've got respect for them professionally speaking. And so I keep going back to this interview. I'm telling y'all, I watch it all the time because I'm confused as to why people don't seem to see Candace in the same way that I see her, right? We all agree with Dawn. We all agree there's some serious problems with Dawn. The whole family structure, Candace's side of the family. I mean, there's a culture in this family and extended family where the crimes against children is just the norm, right? So that's easily seen and acknowledged. But I'm really confused at the lack of awareness for Candace's behavior during this interview, but the zeroing in on Dawn, right? So I go back to this very often. I'm very confused by it. I'm really interested in why I seem to have a little bit different reaction. And I think I've targeted something. I think I've targeted something here. Now, I went through and I did the interview with, Allie and Hunter, Chris McDonough, and then Allie's grandmother on the front porch. And I was able to show Allie's micro expressions. And Chris McDonough was watching her closely. And so I was able to show that and illustrate that, Allie's not in clear here. I don't think she had anything to do with Summer going missing, but I do think that she is obviously quite invested in protecting her child, as I would be or you would be, right? So the fact that she feels like she needed to maybe control the narrative to protect her child is of interest. That is very interesting. So I keep going back to this particular interview because I'm confused why I seem to see something a little bit different than what these other trained behavioral analysts are reacting to. So I can pick out stuff from Candace all day long, but knowing Dawn's history and my own personal animosity towards the perpetrators of crimes against children, and I keep wondering, why am I not so rabidly convinced that this guy had something to do with the disappearance of that baby? Why? Doesn't make sense. Knowing what I know about him, his background and history, I should be on the bandwagon, believing, fully invested in the idea Dawn did this. But I can't get there, right? And I think that's interesting that I'm not there. I think I should be. And of course, I have moments, true. Um, but I think I see something now that may explain it. So, I'm going to play this clip. Um, and I'm going to try to make this big enough that you guys will be able to pick up. Remember, we looked at the micro expressions of Allie on the porch interview with McDonough. So I'm going to try to focus on that. Now, we may save Candace. I may do a different video on that, but I want to, I'm not disregarding Candace here. I'm not giving her a pass. I'm not saying, oh, I don't think she did anything wrong. In fact, I'm the exact opposite. I feel much more negative about Candace than I do about Dawn in terms of potential culpability, right? Y'all know that I've talked about it before. I don't think anybody here is awesome. Okay. I don't think we're going to canonize any of these guys on Wells Hell. Okay. I think there's been a great deal of neglect for all those children. I think that there is reported abuse that is plausible, in my opinion. And I think there's a huge story here that has not been addressed. And that is, where the hell is CPS? Tennessee. Where is CPS? Why weren't those boys and that little girl protected? Why did it take the loss of a baby to finally get you guys spurred into action? Why? There's your story. CPS and the fact that nobody did anything. Here's another part of that story. How is it that this man right here on your screen, why is he free? Why does he seem to get away with crime after crime after crime? Broken probation. Why? We usually think of people that are able to get away with breaking the law. We think of them as people who are very wealthy. They can hire the best attorneys, or politically powerful. They have a higher value to society than simple law, right? We always, or maybe they're well known, maybe they're actors or famous, professional ball players. We always think of people that are able to get away with breaking the law. We always think of them as having some sort of special factor that sets them apart from all the rest of us. I promise, if I had done all the things that this guy had done, I'd be in jail, right? How many of you guys, if y'all had broken the law, how many times in how many different states, and then you continue to break the terms of your probation and you do it over and over and over, how many of you think that your butt would be sitting in jail too? You'd be right there with me, right, Cinnamon? We'd be sitting there together talking about, damn, we shouldn't have done that, right? But boy, it was fun. Okay. So it is it's a mystery that deserves attention, to say what's going on with the sheriff that this guy is still walking free. What is going on with the prosecution, the prosecutors, the district attorney's office? What's going on that this guy is still out, especially after this last time that he got caught drinking and drunk and showing off on the internet? He's out again. Why? Right? We've got all these reports from family members that he's a perpetrator of SA. Where are the charges? Where are the charges? So there is a story. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, you people that talk about Summer Wells, y'all are just exploiting the story for your own gain. You're just using this family for views and for money and blah, blah, blah. There's a story here that hasn't been told that deserves some attention. And it's related to why on earth this family continues to get away with, should I say murder? No, I won't. I'll control myself. But definitely, this guy is not being held to legal standards that you and I would be held to, right? So, what is it about Don Wells that's so special? Or Candace Wells? What is it? Why do they seem to be made men, untouchables by the local law enforcement, right? Aldo says, is he a confidential informant? Who knows, Aldo? How in the world do you have a group of kids living in these conditions and CPS hasn't acted? How is that? How does that happen? We've had plenty. Kathy R worked as a CPS worker. This family, just from what we saw from that video of McDonough going up onto Wells Hill and going through the house, and all that, just those conditions right there, the bruising and the filth on these kids, they had more than enough reason to at least temporarily remove those children from that home until it was cleaned up and made safe, right? But nobody was doing anything. Why? It's a mystery. All right. So I found something here on this part. So this video is not going to be about Candace, but that's not because I think Candace is innocent of any wrongdoing. It's just because this is something that I arrived at where I sort of had an aha moment. And I thought maybe this is the reason why I just can't get to the point that others are at, like AB, that people believe Don did something to the baby. Right? So there's a very limited scope for this discussion. It doesn't mean I'm letting anybody off the hook. Nothing like that. Okay. But here's something that I finally noticed, and I thought, maybe this is why I'm not on board with pointing my finger at Don. Okay. All right. So let's play this. Make sure the sound's turned all the way up so you can hear it. I gotta put my headphones on too.
Because I try to guard my heart as much as I can, but she holds my heart in her little hands.
Okay. Now clearly the guy looks high. He's not drunk, because when people are drunk, their pupils get very large. Okay. When people are using opiates, their pupils get very pinprick, really small. He's sitting outside in the middle of the day. Look at the size of his pupils. Okay, so pay attention to him right now. Okay, he's talking, he's somber, kind of got a look of seriousness across his eyebrows, but his eyes are a little yellow, like he may be having some liver problems. But he's he's pretty calm right now. Now watch what happens.
I love her with all my heart. I'd do anything to have her back.
Okay, now that's the first little side note. Talking about micro expressions. I may have to slow this down to catch it. Hold on, let me slow it down so I can catch it. I think I missed it. Hold on. Maybe he doesn't look at Candace.
Do anything to have her back.
He does look at her, doesn't he? So he says, I'd do anything to have her back. And there's an intense look of anger, right? He looks pretty, yeah, he did, Kathy. I was wrong. He did look, right? He looks right at her. He kind of played around for a minute, kind of looking in that general direction. But when he says, I'd give anything to have her back, he looks directly at Candace, and that is a look of anger in his eyes. Okay, he's angry. Y'all agree? If you agree, put a 1. If y'all think this was a significant moment, him looking at his wife in anger, saying, I would do anything to have her back, what do you think? You think that was significant? Yeah, me too. So I think this right here, right off the bat, that says he's accusatory, right? He's accusatory. Well, okay. Ellen disagrees, and you can, Ellen. That's good. I like all opinions here. Okay. I'm just fighting. I'm exploring for me why I feel like Candace is culpable, but I'm talking about just in the disappearance of Summer, that Candace did something, and that maybe Dawn legit doesn't know what happened to her, or he knows what happened to her, but he had no part in it. That doesn't mean that I don't think he didn't hurt her. It doesn't mean that I don't think he didn't commit SA. I think, given his history and the whole family dynamics, that's a distinct possibility that there was SA. Okay, I'm talking about now Summer being harmed, Summer being disappeared. Yeah? Okay. So number 1, he looks right at her. He's very accusatory in his glare, and he's saying, I'd give anything to have her back. And you can almost hear him say, you bitch, right? I mean, it's almost, notable. Okay, let me get it back up to the normal speed here now. All right, so let's listen now and watch his eyes.
Your little girl.
If there's any way.
Make it a little bit bigger here. Okay, now Candace looks very uncomfortable. She knows she's just been accused. Okay, so keep watching and keep an eye on Dawn's eyes, Dawn's face.
If you can find it in your heart to please.
Okay, this is the beginning. So Candace is listening closely to him. She don't give a damn about the interviewer. She doesn't care right now how she's coming across. She is being communicated with by her husband. There is communication here, nonverbal. There's communication happening below the surface here. She's hearing him send a message on how he feels about the girl being gone. Now, that is a very curious position to see her in. But more important is Dawn is talking about the baby as if she is alive, as if he is processing the information with knowledge, expectation that she's alive somewhere.
Release her somehow. I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure.
And what's Candace's look saying? I don't like this. What are you talking about?
But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go.
Don is speaking to someone. He legitimately believes, I think, that someone has her. Like, he seems to really believe that he's communicating with someone. Candace is the one who looks like the cat that ate the canary right here. Candace looks like, oh shit, what are you talking about? Stop, you know? Now, is this more of fear of the cornbread mafia? Is she wanting him to shut up because they've threatened to hurt him if they talk? I don't know what her problem is. But for me, watching Dawn and thinking about consciousness of guilt, theory of mind, all of that, Dawn legitimately seems to believe that someone has her. He's not gotten to this point. So think about it this way. Let's say that there was an accident. Something bad happened to the little girl, and Candace said, Dawn, we had a terrible accident. She's gone. We need help. We need to get rid of the evidence. And so he comes in and he helps fix it and turns what was, an accidental death into a abduction, missing kid or whatever, right? A lot of people think that's a possibility. Well, then he would have awareness that she wasn't actually alive. He would have awareness, he would have consciousness of the theory of mind, the idea, the metacognitive state that he's here and he's acting out a role of what someone would do, what he thinks someone would do if she was simply abducted rather than actually gone, like he would supposedly already know. That's not how this man is talking. He's actually talking like someone got her. Someone got her and I can't get to her. And these are the things that scare me. These are the worst thoughts for my daughter if someone's stolen her. Now watch his eyes closely as he begins talking. Uh-oh, why are we going? Come on.
And where we can get her back, and just please have mercy on her, and and us and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please don't hurt her. Please let her come home.
This touched Candace. Please don't hurt her. He's pleading not that the baby be okay. Candace knows. Candace didn't get all choked up crying. She's scared. She's controlled. She's taken a mini vacation away from the intense discomfort of listening to Dawn be in agony.
That she's, my biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her downfall. Because a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? Go get Summer now. And that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. And
she loved to be outside.
And I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything. And I'm afraid that she won't be able to, locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything. Love.
He's tore up right here.
Nature,
He's tore up. He's really thinking what could she possibly be experiencing right now? What are the things that she could possibly be experiencing right now? Right? So this was, I think that I think this is at the heart of what bugged me about this. That to me it looked like Candace was playing a game, playing a role, and she reacts to his words in a really uncomfortable way. But then when you look at Don, it does look like he's processing cognitively. He's actually questioning, wow, what, what are they doing with her? Like, why did they keep her? Like, why didn't they bring her home? And what could they possibly be doing? Like, is she ever going to get to play, or like, what's going to happen to her? Do you see my point? It's not that I think he's a good guy. It's not that I think he's daddy of the year. None of those things. I believe everything that Mary and the others have said. I think all of that is true. But for the way that he is processing the moment, he legitimately looks like he does not know where she is. Now, we'll tell you something else, and this is triggering, okay, very triggery. So, you may not want to listen if you have a history with the whole SA thing. But here is some accurate information. There are adults who commit SA that want to torment, right? They want to torment. It's about power and control. It's harmful. It's violent. There's another group of people that commit SA with children who are so socially delayed. They're clumsy. They simply lack the ability to have a normal, regular relationship with someone in their peer group. And they're actually incapable of having a relationship with their peer, with someone nearer to their age. They're just incapable. Their own emotional and social development was interrupted by trauma of some sort, and they simply cannot have an effective relationship with someone their age. And sometimes those people will kind of fall back to an age range where they understood that group, and they may actually try to start up a relationship with somebody in that age. And it is pedophilia. Make no mistake about it. It's damaging. It's dangerous. They should be arrested and spend the rest of their life in prison. Okay. The way he talks about, I usually guard my heart, but she took my heart in her little hands. No one has ever loved me as she does. He laments. He speaks almost like he's describing a lover. Would y'all agree? When he starts all that talk about how nobody's ever loved him the way that Summer loves him, right? So I don't disagree. Please don't take this out of context. I'm not making a single comment, no comment at all on whether this guy is a perpetrator. I think we should believe Mary and Jeannie and the family. I think that's what you do. I think you believe the person that's making the outcry, right? And I think his own words betray him that he is in a type of romantic love relationship with her, which supports what Mary and Jeannie have been saying. But also, as he talks in this instance, the reflection that we're getting for the way he is cognitively conceptualizing the loss of Summer, he legit sounds like he doesn't know where she is, that he is kind of engaging in this type of fantasy thing where he's trying to figure out what are the possibilities, what could legitimately be happening that would make sense. So he's not having these horrible nightmares that somebody's hurting her. I mean, he appeals and he becomes tearful and he says, please don't hurt her. Please don't hurt her. Please have mercy on her. Okay, he goes through that. But then he gets back to that very real position that you would see a parent in his position go through of, I'm afraid my child is not going to be able to do the things that my child loves. My child loves puppies. It would be hell on earth for her not to be able to play with puppies. I can't stand the thought of her being locked away in a dark room and never being able to go outside because she loves it so much. You see what I mean? So this may be the moment that really sticks with me, that makes me think he legit may not know where she is. But I think Candace knows very well.
And that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, because it's so easy to get, lost in that negativity and stuff, and it's just not worth it. So I'm just, I appreciate y'all for the good things you say. And
okay, now he's just doing the, babbling, saying, blah blah blah. So I don't know. It's an interesting. You look at her. I mean, just even right here, this picture. I mean, she doesn't look like she's in emotional pain. Yeah, but then you look at him. He looks like he looks like he's suffering. That's a look of guilt. What word would you put to describe that look on her face right there? Does that look like a woman that's grieving? I don't know, Diane. I don't know. I agree, Vanessa, 100%. Don and Candace should have been arrested for child neglect. Absolutely. And you get them separated, right? You move them apart from one another, and then you wait a few days. Well, they haven't had their substances for a couple of days. They're beginning to get physically uncomfortable, right? They will roll over on each other. They will roll over on one another. But again, they don't seem to want to touch them. I don't know. No, to me, she looks like she has a secret. That's what she looks like. She looks like she has a secret. She's listening carefully to Don to see how he's responding, what he's thinking about. She's trying to find her way. I would be willing to bet that she's very afraid of him, that if he were to find out, what she did, that her life would be in danger. I think she believes that. Don says he has several alibis. 7. Didn't he say 7? I think he said 7. Candace has none, and she is going down. I mean, Vanessa, that's exactly what he said. She's going down. That statement alone should have been enough for Lawson to have called them back in for questioning. I am with you, Vanessa. You are so right. Oh my God, Jules, you talk about the video and you answer comments. Wow. You talk about the video and you answer comments. As a retired parole officer, I can say I would have arrested Don so fast his head would spin. How is that, Aldo, that he keeps violating terms of parole and he's still walking the streets? I don't understand that. One of the things that's been somewhat confusing for me is Dr. Phil saying during his show with the Wells, neither one of them had done anything to Summer. My gut instinct has been Candace. Well, happy. You are a Duck Dynasty person, aren't you? Okay. So I think Dr. Phil, I can't speak for him, but let me tell you what I'm thinking. Watching the Dr. Phil episode, listening to his reactions, the things that he said to Don and Candace. I think that Dr. Phil believes that Candace knows what happened to Summer, but Candace did not hurt Summer. That Candace is not the one that actually did anything, but because of actions that Candace took, Summer ended up being taken. And I think that equates to the idea of a drug debt, right? Now I have another idea. No, you're fine, North Carolina princess. You're good. I think that there's another possibility, and that would be, you know how she responds so emotionally to the Cornbread Mafia situation. We know we saw Hunter throwing gang signs on the video where he's walking into the water and Summer's playing in the water. Remember? And we know that for most gangs, that there is a requirement, an initiation requirement, if you will. And for some of the more violent gangs, you basically have to kill somebody. You have to get your first hit. Am I right or wrong? So sometimes my mind goes to a very dark place and I wonder, but that's all it is. It's just a moment of thought, could that have happened? Lawson is so creepy. I'm shocked at the area. She had it planned for a long time. I'm pretty sure the arrest is coming soon. Have an airtight case. That drive home, Candace was sketchy. H made a comment about taking Summer out of the water and throwing her over his shoulder. That statement is very specific. That statement was extremely specific, Lady of Angels. Absolutely. And don't forget, Lady of Angels, Hunter's got a big milk problem. Right? He's got a big milk problem. I thought it was interesting that Hunter tried to say that Grandis was, grouchy and that she was really mean. And, he answering Chris McDonough, he kind of tried to tried to say that, that Grandis must have had something to do with it because she was so harsh. Right? Remember that? I thought that was interesting. And I thought, is that a red herring? Why are you blaming her? Now, she is one of two people that disappeared right after the baby did. She left and David Dodson left. And they're both sketchy. Yeah, the milk problem, Princess. The milk problem is that we have a photograph on the 2 gallons of milk, where they were located and all of that. Hunter claims that he was holding the milk in his lap. And during the interview on the porch with McDonough, he got all turned around upside down with the milk and where the milk was and where everybody was sitting and how the milk got where it was. Opioid withdrawal is notable for the yawning. That's exactly right. Yep. All right. The Blyes and Harrers have a long line of SA as well. That is correct. And so both sides of the family do, the paternal and the maternal side. There's a lot of SA and a lot of neglect. It is a cultural, it's a culturally accepted activity for this family. And that's a nightmare to have to say. I get that. But it also is intergenerational. It's happening over and over and over through each generation and across the family members. Yeah. I don't believe anything out of H's or Allie's mouth. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Princess. Yep. Just got here. Do you still have the same feelings that you shared a long time ago about the milk photo that you zoomed? I could not get over that. No, I stand by the milk, the video looking at Summer's last photo, the bruising on her temple. I stand by that. Oh, I stand by that. And you can say, I've had people say, yeah, but there was a medical examiner that went on, a police officer's YouTube channel and said, no, that little girl is alive. Okay, that didn't happen. And I know that didn't happen because that is not what medical doctors do. Medical doctors are guided by a strong, strict line of ethics, and they would never make a statement like that without a physical examination. Okay, so I don't know what all that was about, but that wasn't accurate. It is clear that Summer has bruising around her temple. Now, I've heard people make comments about her lips. I'm not going to go that far, but her fingernails, the position of her fingers, her hands, it definitely looks like posturing. Okay, posturing is something that happens during the death process. The bruise on her temple, the fact that she is non-responsive to ice cold milk that is lying directly on her ear. That's impossible. It's impossible. All right. So I found in another part of this interview, I find Candace's comment about her sister going missing. I find that to be interesting too, because she's so cold. This look right here is worth $1 million right here. She is listening to him to see what he's thinking. She knows. This is a face of guilt. She knows.
That my biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her.
I mean, he's trying to figure out what could be happening to her right now. And that's a cognitive thing that you can't fake. He's legitimately seems to be thinking about all the different things that could be happening.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl." And she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired, But I put out there that one of Summer's favorite songs was Godzilla, and they say, and they're jumping all over me about. I'm sorry about that. It's just.
She also liked the song by New Breed. It was called House, My House. She sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV. She loved to dance.
She liked to think of herself.
It's more like awake, isn't it? It's more like, they're talking about someone who's died. That's how she talks about Summer. There's that look again. Yeah, come on. Come on, Candace. Tell the truth. Come out with it.
Shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it. I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head to so she wouldn't feel bad.
Okay, that was a lie. That was absolute bullface lie. Like that was a complete made up thing that he just said. But now here's the part that interests me. Listen to what he says next.
And but it didn't bother her at this point.
It didn't bother her at this point, meaning it did bother her. It had bothered her. She went through a period of time where it bothered her quite a bit, but she had finally gotten over it. That's what he's saying. So that gets me then to a point of, why the hell did you shave her hair? Candace, why did you shave your daughter's head? So interesting. It's baffling.
Well, I knew right away that she was abducted.
Let's see. I want to find that other part where Candace.
So many man hours in these woods, and
Let's see if I can find it.
but I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that, out of love, and trying to get information and trying to get her found. And we thank them from the bottom of our heart so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. But, yeah, there's always going to be haters, and it's always going to be that way in this world, and we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us and praying for Summer. And we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with.
He does He does a lot of distancing too, doesn't he?
We hardly know.
He does a lot of distancing where he tries to say, "Well, we don't socialize with bad people. We only socialize with good people. Only people that go to church. Those are the kinds of people that we like to socialize with. We don't hang out with bad people." I think that is very interesting. You talk about consciousness of guilt. That's what that looks like to me. That he's having this regret. He's having this idea, this awareness. Yeah, it was some of those drug, nuts that we owed a bunch of money to, and they took our baby. So I think that's part of why he spends a lot of time saying, no, 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 we don't hang out with bad people. We only hang out with good church people. I think it's consciousness of guilt that their lifestyle may have actually put her into danger.
Many of our neighbors, because we just tried, we found out since this was all.
The most important thing is to bring Summer home safe. I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without, thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around.
Treat her like what, Candace? Nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Treat her like what? What are they doing to her, Candace?
Ever.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl," and she would just like to.
Sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV.
Well, I
She loved to dance.
can't find that part. Well,
And I think she really loved to be in church because she felt a lot of love there. And
Yeah.
typical girl.
When they get out of line, she'd put them in line.
She'd do her best.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and
see, this is coming. These thoughts are being generated from a place of awareness that this child is no longer alive. This is like awake. This is like going and talking about your loved one that has passed away and all the things that they enjoy doing, right? That you're honoring their life by remembering the good times. Does that make sense? But when you hear Don talking, he's not telling you stories about all the great things that in life. He's going, I wonder if she's ever going to be able to go outside again. I wonder if she gets, she would giggle and laugh when she was with the puppies. I wonder if she's ever going to be able to play with puppies again. Those are not the thoughts of a man who thinks that the daughter is dead. He's thinking about a daughter that's alive somewhere. Does that make sense? If y'all understand my point, put a 1. If you think I am totally full of it, put a 2. And enjoy it, because this time I've invited you to say I'm full of it. Oh, come on. That's not very many people. Christina says, so much guilt there. He knew something was going on with her and sexual abuse, and she's telling him that she knows as well. He said he always worried about her under Candace's supervision. Oh, my goodness. He is a con. He's very good at it. Absolutely, Rebecca. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, I think that when you listen to the totality of the comments made by Candace in this interview, I think it plays like Candace knows that Summer's dead, that she's honoring the baby's life by talking about the things that she used to love to do and all that. Okay. But I think when you listen to Don, he's kind of going through these mental gymnastics of what could be happening to her right now. Like, where could she be? What kind of circumstances could she be living in at this moment? And maybe that is why I have a hard time seeing him as guilty of harming, not harming the baby, but being responsible for her disappearance. I do believe Mary and Jeannie. I do believe Don's own words that when he speaks about Summer, it's more like he's speaking about a lover than that he's speaking about a child, right? So I agree with you on that point. But I'm talking about her going missing. I'm talking about she's gone. I get the impression far more that Candace doesn't know. She may not know where the baby is right now, but she knows who got the baby. She knows why Summer went missing. I believe that. And Princess said that Dr. Phil is a big joke. Good riddance to Candace. Did he only wonder where and what was happening? Well, I don't know, Sketty. Remember, I was focused on not so much what they were saying, but I was focused more on what are they thinking. Okay. I heard their words, but I was thinking about the words being indicative of what their thought processes were. And for Candace, it seems that Candace has got a problem in that she's remembering a beloved lost child. That Candace expects that Summer's no longer with us. That Candace has consciousness of guilt or awareness that it's unlikely that Summer's alive because she knows where Summer went. Right? But for Don's, the way he talks about it, it's more of, where is she? Like, what the hell? This is crazy. He just seems sort of bewildered, and he's going through different scenarios that could be taking place. Yvette, there was a recent video someone put out about going into the smoke store, and someone was in there and they interview him, and that person said there's a million places to put a body there. Snow Lion said that Dr. Phil is FOS. He is, in fact, a doctor. He's a psychologist. I think Grandis took Summer's body when she left after that all happened. Possibly Social Butterfly. I think it is very strange that she disappeared and that she was allowed to disappear. And I want to know everything there is to know about David Dotson. Period. I think Summer's with someone, and I think Grandma took her there to save her from CPS. And you have to wonder, is that what happened with the other daughter, right? She got adopted out, and she was adopted by a preacher, a minister. I believe that Candace knew who took Summer, who gave Summer to, but it was a deal, and they were going to eventually get her back. I see that the woman is spun out big time. She is spun out big time, yeah. Grandis is awful in character. I was reading and hit that by accident. David Dotson is my number one. Always has been, always will be. He's freaky. Did you see I'm dressed up for the Renaissance Festival? Oh my God. The whole playing the flute thing. Look, I'm open to all kinds. Okay. I don't think people have to live a certain way to please me. It is just not right that David Dotson joins that church a few months before this baby goes missing. They have photographs of him staring at Summer during church service. That is very strange. He's the first one to show up out there on that mountain when she goes missing. He's taking the boys to play putt-putt golf and to eat pizza, like it's a celebration of sorts. And then he leaves the church and moves off to some other state. Yeah, highly suspect. Yeah, give us the link, Cinnamon. Absolutely. I found a photograph of a guy who is a president of a big energy company who is a spitting image of the guy and has the same name. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. Hey, Scott, Southwest by West. Like I said, Scott, the guy comes in, he joins the church for a few months. There are photographs of him basically lasciviously leering at Summer during church services. And then when she goes missing, then he does too. How strange they let the boys go for a day with David right after Summer was abducted. Me too, Lolo. Absolutely. That was just crazy. Happy New Year, Scott. Welcome. Good to see you. Okay. So that was the point of it. And if you came in a little bit late, I hope you'll go back to the beginning of the video. I have been uncomfortable with the fact that I do feel like Candace is culpable or maybe culpable, but I just keep thinking that Dawn may legitimately not know what happened to Summer. And that bothers me, and I'll tell you why it bothers me. It bothers me because it's so different than what everybody else thinks. And I keep thinking, well, am I crazy? Like, why can't I get there? I know the guy's bad. I absolutely believe Mary and Jeannie and the family. I absolutely recognize that both sides of this family are filled with SA perpetrators. I'm with you guys. Where there is a high level of addiction, there is more likely to be SA. I understand all that. I'm with y'all. I am 100% there. But when I watch things like this interview, I just think he doesn't know where she is. But Candace, in this interview, she has guilt written all over her. So I wondered, that's why I played this video. I wanted to highlight the things that Dawn says in this video that gives me the impression that he legitimately doesn't know where Summer is. So I hope you'll go back to the beginning of the video and watch. It's not been very long. It's been, as my videos go, this is a short one. So I do hope you'll go back and watch from the beginning and see, just because I'd like to know everybody else's opinion. Karen says, I think he knows now. So you believe, Karen, that in the process of all this, the truth has come out. And that would be, I mean, that would definitely make sense. It would definitely, you know, I think it is bizarre. I think that the deal that they did that night with the phone call where Candace is crying and saying that they're taking Donnie's getting arrested and the mob is beating Donnie up and all the craziness. And it was all planned. It was all contrived. It was bullshit. They were punking America and their baby's gone. This is weird. This is a weird dynamic here. These two people are off the chart strange. There's the link of the creepy mortician that Dawn wants us to leave alone. Dawn has said on a live that he knew where Summer is and he has seen Summer. He's seen her? Well, then arrest him. Oh, yeah, let's put Benny in the mix and see how that goes. Yeah, yeah, it's a strange group of people. Absolutely. I don't like some of the local players that had, one of them said to Tiffany Marie, oh, we got to quit attacking Grandis. Mark my words, Grandis is going to turn out to be a hero. I don't like that. And I keep thinking to myself, why? Why are y'all trying to get people to quit talking about Don and Candace? Why? Why do you care? Well, maybe their drug trafficking is being interfered with. Yeah, the boy's hair was long. Cheryl Poole, you're right. So Don Baldface, we know he lied about what he said about why her hair was cut. Uh, the first time Candace comes out and says, well, I had my hair cut and she wanted to look like me. And then literally seconds later, Dawn says, well, we cut her hair to even it all out. And then, because my warm and loving wife, mother, Candace, wants Summer to feel okay about it, she shaves her own hair, I guess, like with the cancer, diagnoses. But Candace herself said just minutes before that that's not what happened. So Don has proven that he is a liar. Don't ever doubt that. um the my the again, my point for this was that when he's talking about Summer, how much she loves being outside and how many times that she has chosen to stay outside when everybody else went inside, and that he worries that she'll never get to play with a puppy again, he tears up and you can see his lip quiver. He's legitimately thinking about what could her life be like wherever she is. He really doesn't know that she's dead, I don't think. Or he deserves an Academy Award. That's all I know. Same guy said Summer would be found in weeks. It never happened. It was creepy. He acted like he knew where she was, and Grandis knew too. And the overall overriding message, Donna, was that we should all shut up and quit talking about it. Yeah, it is a weird group of players. This is a bad group of people. Bad group of people. Yeah, there were lots of rumors, but the CPS report, Lady of Angels, did show that the boys had scabies and they had lice and they had multiple bruises in various stages of healing. The boys were it physically, health wise, they were in bad condition. Yeah, me too, Cinnamon. You're not alone. The best of us, truly. It is hard to get a handle. What she did that night with that phone call, the way she was crying, the way she was screaming, it was so disturbing for people to listen to. And then you find out it was a joke. Very strange. Very strange. It was awful. Absolutely awful. And it's just getting worse and worse, right? Yeah. Absolutely. Neglect, trauma bonding, it's all here. But the weirdness, the creepiness, the actors involved, it signals a much higher problem. And you've got these strange actors on the ground forming these alliances with these people. Where in the hell is the sheriff? Thank you, Butterfly. Thank you. Where's the sheriff? Why are we not intervening in this circus sideshow? Right? It's terrible. It's really terrible. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to make a comment on the cognition, the consciousness of guilt, and that in this particular interview, not in others, but in this one, at this point back in June, Don really does look like he doesn't know where she is. But I would agree that things are different now. And Karen thinks that maybe Ronnie is covering for Dawn, which brings me right back to my original contention, Karen, which was, what is so special about Don Wells that he manages to continue to break the law and to break his terms of probation and not get put back in jail? He's not uber wealthy. He's not famous. He's not a part of a super family. So who the hell is this guy that the cops are not interested in putting him in jail? Right? And why Did Candace used to look like a girl and now she's doing everything she can to look like a boy? And her own mother also has adopted a very masculine role. That's strange to have an adult human being who's given birth to children to suddenly jump up and change their appearance. It's not common. Think Don's got something on someone, some big shot in the community, huh? Or they're running a lot of drugs. They're making a lot of money. That's possible. It's a very poor area. That is possible. What was the story? Do y'all remember the sheriff in Oklahoma? Wasn't it Oklahoma that was running a big drug ring and prostitution ring, and the young girl and boy were murdered? I'm gonna have to find that story. Can't remember the name of it. I can see the sheriff because he was like the sheriff from Hazard County. What was his name? What's the sheriff's name? Boss Hogg. He looks like Boss Hogg. Well, he's in jail now, but he looks like Boss Hogg. Cut Candace's hair in retaliation. Yeah, that's what I wonder. I researched similar cases where law enforcement was involved. Yeah, exactly, Lori. And that's what I'm thinking about. This case that was in Oklahoma. It turned out the sheriff was the worst criminal in the whole town. I mean, he was the guy that everybody was afraid of. Roscoe B. Coltrane. There's another one. Yeah, Lolo. Yeah. I'm gonna have to look it up. I wish I could remember the name. A really beautiful couple. The young man and the young lady were both really pretty, attractive people, but they had gotten involved in drugs with this sheriff. Shoot, I'll have to find it. It was Oklahoma. I can't remember the name. I think they're deep into the drug culture. They're being protected by someone. It's crazy. Kids' lives are being leveraged. Well said, Honey K. Well said. Absolutely. Bill's channel is defunct. He hasn't uploaded anything in a long time.
Year and a half.
Eyes wide open. All these people are shady. They are, Tawny. They're so shady. And then the friends who are now like gathering around this couple like a bunch of water buffalo, they're just as shady, right? Oh, thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's a weird group of characters that are involved, right? It's a strange group. And we still don't have any arrest. We don't have, I mean, it defies understanding. It really does. There's another one, Patty. Absolutely. Patty G says, why hasn't there been any more focus on the missing West boys? It has been 1 year. What happened? No information and the failure of the police to act. Now, maybe they didn't have anything to act on, but I don't know. Maybe I'm old school. I think the cops should put pressure on some of these families, you know? In the case of Orrin and Orson West, they have video that shows that the dad lied about what he did when the boys went missing. Right there, to me, that's enough. Arrest him. Hold him for something. The DNA is being tested. Good. Dawn says Summer is in a hotel. Oh my God, Donna, you said it. Oh my God, you said it. You're summoning Beelzebub. Don't do that. And he's and the same guy stole a bunch of everybody's money, right? In the thousands, like thousands of dollars he took off with. He lied to the poor people who did the advertising signs. He told everybody, "Oh, we paid for 60 days." And they were like, here's the contract. It was 30 days because he didn't have enough money. It's crazy. It's a crazy story all the way around. West boys were covered on court TV the date of the anniversary. The sheriff said none of the neighbors had ever seen the boys. At the time that this story was going on and it was getting a lot of attention, I said I felt like they had never made it to that new house. Yeah. Political crimes and circus clowns. The police in California City and Bakersfield are horrible. The amount of kids going missing in that area of California is alarming. I was saddened the media coverage dried up. And that I do think, Scott, that you bring up a good point there, that is one of the roles I think that this whole YouTube true crime genre, I think that's the role that we serve. I don't think there's any of us that are being investigators and we're going to help solve cases and all of that. I think the role is to keep the interest up, to keep people looking, to hold officials accountable by saying, hey, there are eyes on you, right? So I do think, okay, thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you for everything. And thanks so much for being here tonight. Appreciate it. Happy New Year. I don't think that any of us have dreams or visions of being, private detectives. I think that's not accurate. I think that the role that we serve on YouTube or social media is awareness. I think we create conversation. We create awareness. People talk when we make these videos. It gets people talking, and look at what happened with the little boy and the 16-year-old cousin, and they found them in a matter of days because of the social media. Gabby Petito's body was found because of social media, not because of the cops, because of social media. I believe that Dr. Phil said in behavior panels said that Candace has guilty knowledge. Absolutely. And this video, you can see her guilty knowledge, but you can see Don, he doesn't know where the child is. He is not experiencing guilt during this interview. You think Candace was passed out for an hour and a half to 2 hours? Listen, Jan, I think it is telling that Hunter goes into the woods. They park the car and Hunter runs away to the woods. Really? Why? Did he meet someone there? Did someone know that he was going to be there? And then he said, well, I was watching the girls. Nobody else was watching Summer. I was watching, and my heart jumped up in my throat when she went under the water. Remember all that? That's right, Yvette. The YouTube creators did try to keep Orson and Oren's story in the news, but with no new information coming out, it's very difficult to do. The same holds true with Michael Vaughn in, is it Idaho? With no information coming out, it's very difficult to tell the story. So I have been in contact with the mother, with Michael Vaughn's mother, and I'm hoping that she'll feel comfortable coming up on the channel, because even just having any family member, you can see what happened in the Summer Wells case when Mary came out and Jeannie came out. They are directly responsible for the amount of knowledge that we have about Summer. They can be credited for the wall-to-wall coverage on Summer, right? It's a great thing when family members and friends come out and begin to talk about the kids that go missing. Look at what happened with JJ and Tylee. They had been missing how long? But when the grandparents of JJ, when they come out and start talking, and then Lori's oldest son comes out and start talk, when people started talking, that's when all the interest happened. So the family members, the friends of these missing kids and missing people, they have to just take a deep breath and say, I need to do this because we've got to get interest spreading across this country. Yeah, it is weird, Butterfly. Yeah. We have a boy in upstate New York that's been missing for 14 years. Last seen with his adoptive father. The boy's name is Jaliak Rain Walker. 14 years, so that's 2008. I'm telling you, Bernadette, it is terrifying how many missing people are out there. This little girl, Harmony Montgomery, same thing. 2 years ago, went missing and no one noticed that she went missing. How? It's too many. It's so many of them. All right. Yeah, BBT Boston does have a channel. Yeah, she does. Funny videos. Candace always seems incoherent. Yeah. Okay. Only one that sees what, Ton? Oh, Duty Ron's been awesome with the West Boys. Only 4 kids got into the van. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said. They have video that shows when they were all going to the mall, right? Where there were only 4 kids that get in the van. They also, from that same guy's security camera, they show where he claims that he was in a panic. He ran out. He was looking for the boys. But really, you see him just calmly walk to the truck. He sits there in the truck a minute and drives away. No, their story wasn't true. There's video evidence that it wasn't true. So why have they not put a lot of pressure on them? The boys could put so much speculation to rest. They would know mom had passed out, not there, if only we knew that they have to say. Ignore me, I don't care. A little girl in the window. Why do you think law enforcement is not busy in the background? They're not going to share with the. Oh yeah, no, I agree, Jan. Of course, they don't. They're not gonna. They're not. They're not accountable to a YouTube community. You're absolutely correct. Yeah. I mean, look at what happened with Barry Morphew. A year later, people thought they had totally dropped the ball, and bam, they arrested the guy. So we're going to hope and pray that they are very active behind the scenes, Jan. I agree with you. Very good, Lisa. Yeah. Yeah, that was odd, Kathy. The mother didn't go out. Yeah. Oh, that's terrifying, Lolo. Oh, I'm sure the boys have been interviewed at length, but they weren't there, remember? They were at home. It was just, which is other highly suspect, that you got Candace and Grandis and then the little girl, and they go pick up an unrelated older teenage boy to go swimming, but then they leave their own boys at home alone to clean. Highly suspect. Highly suspect. Why did they take Summer by herself that day? Okay. All right, everybody. I can't thank you enough for being here. I really appreciate it so much. Please, if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to thumbs up or thumbs down, depending on whether or not you thought the content was interesting. And I'll return another day. Thank y'all so much for supporting the channel, and mods, y'all are awesome. Members of the channel, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, they weren't exactly neat freaks, right, Sherry? I wonder why before Summer was missing, Candace had stuff on her Facebook about everything related to Boswell. And then right before Summer was missing, she deleted it all. Consciousness of guilt, right? Thank you, Lola. Said child stealer wasn't interested in taking the boys, only the girl. Yep. Okay, everybody. Tomorrow's Monday. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. And I hope all of you sleep like babies tonight. All right? Okay. I will see you another day. Talk to you later. Goodbye.